What has sparked this latest spike in violence?
It doesn't need much to spike of violence in the Middle East. It's a kinder tag, or whatever you want to call it. This particular episode began with another. If you ask the Israelis, it was the shooting of civilians. If you ask the Palestinians, it was unwarranted entry into their turf. The Palestinians have become very aggressive. They've become very vocal in warning the Israelis that they've collected a rather large cache of weapons. They're willing to use them. They're not going to give a pass to the Israelis. Just about any incursion by the Israelis will be met by a violent eruption, and that they're living up to their word, and everybody is doing it. The Israelis, however, were really stung by this. The 14 people dead in such a short period of time really, really hit home. So the undercover agents who really fight the war against terror, against the civilian population, have been out in great force.
Yeah. You know, it is interesting, but there had been a while before these sort of random attacks were happening on Israeli citizens. Is it a sense that you get that the Palestinians, as you put it, are not going to continue to suffer from what they say are the injustices of the way they are living?
Well, there are a lot of Palestinians who are believing that the government has to go. And part of this is a show to put on pressure to Mahmoud Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority, a resonating cheer that you got to go, you're in your 80s, you know, you've been in office for 10, 15 times longer than you were elected for, it's time to get new blood. This is going to shake up the landscape. It also is a play, you have the lone wolf type events being interspersed with the more organized events, and the more organized events are part of that message that's being sent that, hey, we're still here. We Palestinians haven't been put on the side because of the Abraham Accords. We're not put on the side because our time has passed, that we're not doing anything. Maybe the leadership isn't, and therefore we're going to shake it up, so leadership has to be responsive.
Is there any obvious successor?
Yes and no, like in any election. There are people close to Mahmoud Abbas. There are people who have been in exile for a number of years. There are people who will come from just about out of nowhere to get to where they have to be. It'll be an interesting election period if the election ever really comes.
Yeah, indeed. The holy month of Ramadan is drawing to a close in a few days. This typically also escalates tensions, does it not?
Oh, absolutely. It's a time for tensions. Again, when the Temple Mount, the Haram al-Sharif, is getting the attention that it gets during Ramadan, you have masses and masses of people squeezed together in a very short area. And the Palestinians have made it clear that they don't like they call for the status quo, but there's parts of the status quo ante that they're not accepting. And a lot of triggers to the violence are occurring, and much, much less effort than before, almost as if everybody wants to see the conflagration and see where afterwards we see the pieces fall.
Yeah. Let's come closer to Israel, and the Prime Minister is coming in for a fair bit of criticism. He's been racking up fairly hefty bills, $26,000 a month. Now, of course, this is at his private residence because he chose to continue living there as Prime Minister, did he not?
He certainly did. And it's interesting, too. Israelis have made an art form out of trashing the Prime Minister about what's on his table, what's in his refrigerator, and what flavor ice cream he uses. They had a lot of years under Benjamin Netanyahu and his wife that they love to pick on. It's honed into an art form. Now, Naftali Bennett is a self-made millionaire. He's got lots and lots of money. He sold his startups for $200-something million. He can afford dinner. And he pointed out to the nation the other night that his dinners are half the cost of the Netanyahu dinners, but he's going to pay his own way now. He's not going to accept the government money to pay for his food anymore. It's kind of comic relief, but these are the little seeds that just gnarl at you and grow into something bigger.
Yeah, it seems, as you point out, that it's a national sport. But how would you judge how this uneasy coalition government is travelling so far?
Well, it's still there, which has amazed a lot of people. To have so many voices trying to sing the same tune is not an easy task. What's breaking up now is not surprising, but whether the fact that it's held together even after the initial troubles have set in is pretty impressive. And it's possible it could actually make it into the next phase of this coalition government.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Lovely to chat as always. Thanks, Michael.
A pleasure. Good to see you.